In both cases, it's someone who's saying you don't count as a woman or you're holding feminism back.
Cis men are the problem.
Always.
Why aren't you talking more about cis men being the problem? Why are you making your entire basis around feminism about other women and what they're doing? And I think they believe they're trying to be helpful, but they're not. They're so wrapped up in their trauma, they don't see that they're actually just harming other women.
Because the second you give away a little bit of your rights so that trans people have less of them, they're coming for yours next.
It's hard to get past that with people like that. You are safer standing with other women. The girls that I know that look out for each other, it's trans girls and sex workers.
Nobody else has our backs.
Yeah, Nazis are pretty f***ing gay.
Yeah.
Lady and the Trans Podcast. Where we believe in science. We don't believe in God. Only science. Science will solve all the problems. That's the trans agenda.
It's trans people in science gonna save the day.
Solve the problems with us. With science. Science, bitch.
Science and my trans agenda, I'm returning trans.
Hello
Hello.
and welcome.
Welcome to another episode of the Lady and the Trans Podcast.
Lady and the Trans Podcast.
I am a lady named Chloe,
And I'm a lady named Laura.
and today what are we talking about? We're talking about
Well, as you can tell from the title, we're talking about our theories on SWERFs and TERFs
SWERFs and TERFs.
and how the
SWERF and TERF, baby.
SWERF and TERF. SWERF and TERF. Yeah, and how the ideology is just basically misogyny.
That's why I was doing a British accent, by the way. They love surf and turf over there.
Do they? Is that a thing?
I mean, they love fish and chips, which
That's
is
a good point.
basically the same thing.
They like beans on toast.
Yeah. Bangers, beans, and mash, you know.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Sure you do. Okay, continue. Carry on. I'm so sorry.
So to get started, I kind of just wanted to define what a SWERF is and what a TERF is.
We should definitely do that. But first, you should like and subscribe and comment and subscribe to our Patreon.
Hit the notifications bell too.
You want notifications.
You want to know when we're around.
You want to
know?
hear from us.
Yes.
I know what you want.
Yes.
And this is clearly what you want.
Yes.
So,
Also, check out our Patreon. We're on Patreon.
Patreon is super lit.
It's a good time.
We do random conversations,
Magic
Magic
the
the Gathering games, Jinx. What?
Jinx, you owe
Oh my
me
God.
nothing.
Yeah, I'll think of something. Yeah, probably a Coke, but whatever.
Yeah, you know.
And we do get ready with me's.
Mm-hmm.
We do like behind the scenes content with some of our planning meetings.
Yeah, we do little story times with
We do story times.
Get ready with me's as well.
That's where Laura's putting all of her spicy ballet stories.
Yes.
Which I know has been requested by several of you.
And I got a decade worth of those stories, so
So
many.
2 down,
I've seen some shit.
8 million to go.
I've seen some shit.
So if any of that sounds enticing, Lady and the Trans Podcast on Patreon, shoot us an email, ladyandthetranspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you. We would love, we just love you.
Yeah, we love
We're
you.
super grateful because we just got monetized. And I think
We
it's worth
did,
mentioning,
yes.
thank you to our
Yeah,
subscribers.
that's right. We hit 1,000
and our-
subs. Thank
and
you
our
so
fans,
much.
Everyone who has supported us in any way so far on this
Yeah.
journey, eternally grateful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
True love. I'll
Yeah.
do it the other way. I can't make it work either. That's the way.
What is it?
The little heart.
Oh,
The Gen Z heart.
is that I thought it was like some shit like where they do. I don't even know how they do it.
No, that's a different
Where
thing.
it's like-
this is how they do it.
So odd.
Just a tiny little heart. You gotta
Ours are the best. It looks the most heart-like, I think.
I get
Yeah.
it though, because it is a little too handsy. There's too many fingers involved. Which is why there was the invention of the
That's harder to do though. That's handsier. It's
Yeah.
harder to do.
whatever it was. I can't even do it right now.
It's like you're trying to throw up gang signs doing it that way.
I
It's
mean, honestly,
confusing.
yeah. But I think that's enough for our intro. We
yes.
can dive into whatever the fuck it is we were talking about today.
So basically, a TERF is a trans exclusionary radical feminist.
That's true.
what the acronym means.
I think most of our listeners at least know what that one is.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
we talk about trans shit, so you know
that is true, yeah. But hey,
TERFs.
we might have new ones.
We might have new people. If you've never heard
Yeah.
of a TERF, congratulations
Yes.
and welcome to the internet.
Yes. Must be nice. Yeah. And then a SWERF is a sex work exclusionary radical feminist. So
Yes.
it's somebody who doesn't like sex workers, and a TERF is someone who doesn't fuck with trans people. Yeah.
In both cases, it's someone who's basically saying, like, you don't count as a woman, or you're holding feminism back if you are this thing.
The other thing I want to point out too, because the word radical feminist, a lot of people are like, well, I don't think we should call them feminists. And I do agree, but also I kind of get why it's a thing, because they think they're doing feminism.
Oh, yeah. No, they always start in feminist circles. And then they just like latch onto a specific niche thing where they're like, this one doesn't count though.
Yeah.
And I've decided to, instead of focusing on everything else that all the other feminists are doing, I would like to focus my energy on rejecting this type of person.
Yeah, and they ironically enough do the whole like, oh, like I want equal rights to men, but also if you're not a weak and tiny petite thing, you're not a woman. Or, oh, if you're having sex for money, or like showing your boobs for money, or camming or something, all of a sudden it's,
You're on
oh, well,
OnlyFans.
yeah, you must be a sex trafficking victim, and like you must hate your life, and you must be so
And we
devastated
have to
all the time.
save you, and the only way to do that is to
make it illegal, so it's more dangerous and you're more likely to get murdered or trafficked.
Get
it's
trafficked, arrested. All the policies don't
Mm-hmm.
work is like the key takeaway.
Yeah, I think there's just like a missing piece when you talk to those people too, where it's like, how do you not see where you're going? You know what I mean? Like, how do you not like see the gap in your like logic here? Like, do you want us to have rights or not? Because the shit you're spewing is making it so some women are going to have it much worse. And once those bitches are all like dead, or like, you know, in a position where they don't have rights, now all of a sudden you're next. Like, and they don't see it that way. I want to point out too, white feminism started this way. Our feminist movement, when we, like, white women back in the day started pushing to have the equal right to vote, and they were more heard out and listened to because they were white, and they were still very racist. I feel like queer people and like sex workers weren't as visible, and I'm sure there was a lot of like homophobia, transphobia, and like also like SWERF shit with that.
SWERFs and TERFs started out as BERFs.
Yeah, literally BERFs.
Black exclusionary radical feminists.
Yes, that's amazing. It almost sounds like burps.
It does. Yeah. Honestly, the names we have for them have gotten harder over time.
Yeah.
Like, to go from BERF to TERF. Like TERF, my whole issue with the term TERF is that like it sounds cool. Like it kind of sounds like something you'd want to be, especially if you get rid of the exclusionary. If you drop the E from TERF, it's just trans radical feminist, which is like the coolest person imaginable.
Or you could take the same name and change the E with an I, and it could be trans inclusionary.
But how do you pronounce that? It's still TERF.
Still TERF. That would be the fun part. You could just gaslight everybody about it. Like,
but that's my whole that's why it doesn't work. And like the other letters don't work. Like TARF sounds stupid. TORF sounds stupid.
Yeah.
TURF is still fucking TERF. So like there's no way to do it. Even if you switched it with a Y somehow, like it's still pronounced TERF.
Yeah, I like to think of like, because they call them radical feminists, which sounds really cool. But something I've noticed, the term radical,
It always
means not even that. It always means extremist.
Yeah.
Right? It always means extremist.
And it's a weird kind of extremist.
Yeah. I like, it's like crazy extremist. So like even the radical, I feel like the radical part, if you took it like just TIR or no, TIF, you could be a TIF.
TIFF.
I have a friend named Tiff. Shout out to Tiff if she's watching.
That just makes me think of the film festival.
I didn't know that was a film festival.
Toronto International Film Festival.
Oh.
TIFF.
That checks out.
It's one of the biggest ones of the year.
Damn.
Well, I wanted to just point out that the reason that we decided to do this episode, it was your idea initially, because you were pointing out, I think sex workers and trans people tend to get along really well because we have similar experiences in the ways in which we are excluded from feminism.
Yeah.
And the ways in which people like look down on us.
And treat us like we're not people.
Yeah, it's like a taboo to like be us.
Yeah.
And so even though like sex workers may not be trans and trans people may not be sex workers, there's still a lot of overlapping experiences in the two groups.
And I think I've said this to you before, but sometimes like some of your experiences with transphobia, I won't relate on the level of like transphobia, but like I have had men be very dangerous with me because I used to work at the Midnight Ballet. I've had men talk right in front of me to their friends about me like I'm a lampshade, like I'm not there, like I'm an object.
Yeah.
Like say the most disgusting, awful things about me, like I'm not a person. You know what I mean? Like I've had people treat me like I am not a human being.
Yeah, it's a very similar experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not like visibly a dancer all the time, obviously.
Right.
I'm not walking around in a string everywhere I go, you know?
That would be wild.
That would be kind of insane. I would
a
probably
little bit.
need help if I was just doing that all the time.
It would either be insane or like incredibly courageous.
Yeah,
Like,
and it would really
take
depend.
a level of confidence and self-assuredness and danger.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
People probably wouldn't fuck with you.
You'd have to have a conversation with me to determine where I was at mentally to determine.
100. Yeah.
But yeah, there's like things you'll talk about where I'm like, I don't get the like being trans aspect of it, but there'll be little bits and pieces of things you've experienced specifically with men, even women, like women at the strip club as customers.
Yeah.
They're so terrible. A lot of the time they're worse than the men.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're like the men are obviously more dangerous, but like I feel like in some cases the women are really like the lifeblood of the like anti-trans stuff. Yeah, they're cunts about it. I also just think the ideology and the way they infantilize women is because it's very much like I want equal rights. I want to be able to vote and have an abortion and whatever. And like there's variations of it. You get the more like right-wing people that are more conservative and it's like you're not a feminist and conservative, you know? But like there are some that are like kind of aligned with some left-leaning views, but then also at the same time do this weird like thing where it's like you're almost there and then they do a U-turn all of a sudden. It's like no, but like I don't want to like play basketball with the trans girl because she's stronger than me and like the bitch fucking isn't. You know what I mean? It's like or like the trans woman in the bathroom is gonna rape me. And it's like men do that. That never happens.
And if it does happen, it's the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah, and it's rare.
Yeah. And I feel like there's like maybe 5 cases ever in all of history of that actual like an actual trans person actually doing that.
Yeah, because a lot of the time you'll get like, oh, it'll be like some weird. There was an incident like I think last year or 2 years ago. Some like man, what he didn't, and that's what I'm saying. They're not gonna slap on a wig and makeup. Like this guy just went in looking like a grown fucking man to a women's locker room,
which is what you're gonna do if that's your plan.
He was being a weirdo, and he didn't even say he was trans when like they caught him on camera and told him to get out. They were like, hey, you can't be in here, and he was like, what? I'm queer. I'm a queer. I can be in here. Like you can. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
And like then
I hate everything
a
about
lot of
this.
news articles were making it seem like it was a trans person. And I'm like, this is a cis man who passes as cis, who looks like a cis man, who didn't even say he was trans. And like, he was trying to do some weird fucking like rage bait shit. And then like, you can tell he doesn't know anything about trans people. Like, oh, what? I can be in here. I'm queer. Even if you were like a trans person, your defense would be, I'm a woman. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's so dumb.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
But yeah, the news will run with that. It's propaganda. Cis men are the problem.
Always.
Why aren't you talking more about cis men being the problem? Why are you making your entire basis around feminism about other women and what they're doing?
Doesn't make sense.
There's also the infantilization thing that they do with like trans women where it's like, oh, well, like you don't know what you want, basically. It's like, are you sure you know, especially with like younger trans women or like trans girls specifically, it's like, oh, you don't know that this is actually what you want. You know, when it's like when we were in middle school, like unless you had really psycho parents, like if you wanted to like buy a cute pink dress or like, you know, put on some makeup or like dress like Avril Lavigne, whatever it is, like no one was like, are you sure this is what you want to be? No one was telling us that. So why are you telling other women that, you know? But it's like an infantilization thing of like, there's no way you could possibly like be this and want this and know this.
It does have the energy of like, they think we're stupid.
Yeah. And I feel like the infantilization happens more with like the sex worker thing.
Yeah.
A big thing, I've never been a full service worker. I've never done like actual like illegal like services or anything like that, but I do follow a lot of like people in general, but women specifically that do that as sex work. And something they talk about a lot is they don't want legalization, they want decriminalization. And they don't want it to be illegal because it makes it so if they get raped or robbed on the job or beat up, if they go to the cops, they're now catching a criminal charge.
Yeah.
And also the cops love to rape sex workers.
Yep.
So like that puts them in that position. They'll always be like, oh, like it needs to be illegal to do sex work. Like the SWERFs do that. And sex workers will be like, no, this is getting us killed. And they're like, no, because most sex workers are like sex trafficking victims. And they're like, that is a problem in the issue because it's illegal.
Yeah.
And it's harder for sex trafficking victims to get help when they're in danger. If you're a sex trafficking victim, and you go to the police, you're going to get arrested, even if you weren't willingly doing it. There was an incident, I'll look it up. I forget what country this happened in, but there was a girl who was being sex trafficked. And when she got out of that situation, the government made her pay taxes on the money that she had been able to keep while she was being pimped out. She like faced legal charges and also had to like pay taxes on the money that she was being exploited for.
Not legal to do this, but
Yeah.
also we're going to count it as income.
And actually, I think it was the money
That's
she was giving
fucking
to her
insane.
traffickers as well. I'm pretty sure. I'll look into the details about it.
Actually insane.
Yeah. Or there was Centoya Brown. There was this underage girl that was being sex trafficked, and she killed her. So there was a guy that
I remember this.
she was like 15 years old getting pimped out by this fucking creep. I forget if she killed the pimp or if she killed one of the clients, but I guess she was like, she felt unsafe with the client, which like, I don't blame you. It's an older man. You're an underage girl. That alone should be enough to kill the guy. It's, oh, let's kill all pedophiles until it's a girl killing the pedophile that's about to rape her or whatever.
Yeah.
But she went to prison for like most of her like early adult life. She didn't get out until she was in her 30s. She was a kid. They tried her as an adult and she was a victim. It wouldn't have mattered if she was an adult. She was still a victim.
It's infuriating.
But they make sex work illegal so they can continue to harm women. Like
But what's the difference between legalization and decriminalization?
we are going to throw in a clip from an actual full service sex worker. I didn't articulate that point very well, and I also missed a few very important points. Listen to this girl instead.
Legalization is just backdoor criminalization. Legalization comes with things like licensing, certain areas that the work is restricted to, certain barriers to entry. Now, this work is usually populated by people who don't have the money to be able to pay licenses and fees and be restricted to certain areas to do this work. To legalize it is to put restrictions on it, such as the legalized system that they have in Nevada, where you're only allowed to do this kind of work like outside of Vegas and within the confines of brothels, which then charge you fees to be able to even do this work, which oftentimes puts people who are doing this work in cycles of poverty, in cycles of debt, because you got to pay for room and board, you got to pay for food, you got to pay for transportation, you got to pay to get tested every week, you got to pay for supplies, you got to pay for the license with the sheriff. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the legal system. So we don't want legality, we want decriminalization, which is just removing criminal penalties from doing this work.
The sex workers at the brothels in Nevada are unionizing right now because they were trying to force these girls to sign these contracts that even if they leave that industry, if there are like photos, videos, like any sort of like internet branding they've done for their business, if they leave, the club would have legal rights to like use that,
Ugh.
use their likeness and like, you know,
Well, I hate
their
that. That's
their
disgusting.
image for and they were like, we're not doing this, so they're
Yeah.
all striking right now. I've looked into those brothels too. They do a lot of shade, like it's like you get mixed reviews from girls that dance at that work at those places, and then after that they force you to stay there. Like you have to be there for like, I think it's like 2 weeks at a time. And I understand it's to prevent them from like maybe like going and hooking up with somebody on their off time and getting an STD. It's kind of like for those reasons, but it's also like almost borderline like holding somebody against their will. We need a workers' revolution in general. Capitalism needs to go away. I think sex work would be less common anyways if capitalism went away. I think it'd still kind of be around, but not the way it is. But also a big part of why sex workers get the worst of it is misogyny, because it is usually women doing these jobs. It's the same thing. Trans women usually end up getting into those jobs. That's a big thing. A lot of like TERFs like to quote like, oh, like trans women are like sex offenders at a higher rate. Like it's because most of them get into sex work. And if you get caught one time by a cop, that goes on your record. You are a sex offender if you get caught.
Yeah. That's terrible.
And then people act even if you're like willingly going to a legal brothel, like you're still doing it against your will. It's like, oh, you must hate yourself. And it's like, bitch, you've been married to the same guy for 30 years. You have sex with him for free and never come. What do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get why sex workers say that shit.
Those are probably the people who are the swerfiest.
Yeah, it's
like,
miserable.
Honestly.
Pick me bitches.
Like, I'm not having a good time. You shouldn't. And it's not like it's a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure most of the time
It's just work.
It's work.
Yeah.
And maybe every once in a while it's kind of fun, and maybe every once in a while it's like terrible. But like,
yeah, it's kind of like I get paid to flirt with guys at the club and show them my boobs. You know what I mean? I think that what I do is less work, you know, but it's also work. I get drained when I'm talking to somebody that I'm not attracted to and like making them feel good about their appearance and like flirting with them, giving them the attention they want.
Putting on a character.
You tell a bald guy he has a nicely shaped head, he'll be in love with you.
He'll
forever.
open his pocketbook.
I try to keep compliments like that genuine though, because like if the guy has a weird shaped head, he knows it, and if I try to tell him that, he's gonna be like, "You're a lying bitch." You know what I mean? But yeah. Another thing I have noticed about SWERFs and TERFs is a lot of the time their anger towards other women and wanting to exclude them from things comes from a place of trauma.
Sure.
It's almost like the experience I've gotten is kind of judgy based on how they've been judged for their sexuality. I started dancing at the beginning of 2016. The industry was not nearly as glamorized. I didn't tell a lot of people, and this is why. I had a friend that I went to college with, and her and I would like hang out and party. We'd like, you know, go to like rock shows and stuff. Like we had a lot of fun together. And I remember one night I like told her, I was like, hey, like I haven't told a lot of people this, but like I've been dancing for a couple of months like at a club, and like her reaction was like kind of like pure disgust. The way it was like, even in her face, she was like, oh, why are you doing that? And I remember like I had brought up that I was going to work or whatever, and I was like, I think I'm going to switch clubs. I'm not really liking this one. It's getting kind of like whatever. And she was like, yeah, but I mean, like, they're all going to be like that because they pick girls to work there that don't have any dignity. She said that to me. And that was the day I never fucking spoke to her again. I was like, wow.
That makes
And I was like, bitch, you don't have any dignity. You work at Dave & Buster's and can't pay your rent. Fuck you. Like, whatever. She also got sucked into Scientology, and that was around the time that had happened. And so, like, I was already kind of iffy on my friendship with her because she kept trying to convert me. And I was like, bro, I've seen the documentaries. I'm surprised you haven't. I'm not doing this. And then, like, when she started saying shit like that to me, I was like, I remember one day after she said that to me, I was like, I'm not talking to you anymore. That was real fucking icky.
I remember we talked about that when we were talking about the cult that I was in, because we all worked at Dave & Buster's.
Yeah.
I was like, what's up with Dave & Buster's and everyone working there joining cults? Like, that's wild.
What is the, like, common theme here? Why are you more, like, susceptible to getting into a cult if you work at Dave & Buster's? I don't know. What if the cults are working with Dave & Buster's and putting out, like, hypnotic frequencies?
There's just weird energy in there, look.
It is kind of wild. It feels like Chuck E. Cheese in a casino, but also, like...
The whole place is just designed to, like, hypnotize you into, like, putting all your money onto those little point cards and playing video games until you die.
Yeah.
It does matter.
So I feel like there's a lot of... I know for a while... Because people corrected me in my comments when I was saying I used to be a TERF, because I felt like I was like, I kind of believed that shit when I was like 19, but I wasn't like involved in a group.
Right.
And I also was...
I don't know that you have to be involved in a group to be a TERF. Like,
yeah.
I feel like people are drawing lines and picking hairs that don't necessarily need to be picked.
There's also a lot of topics that like, I was just kind of like judgy in a way. Like there were conversations not happening back then, right? This was in like 2011, 2010. Like no one was having like conversations on a regular basis about whether or not trans women should be in the bathroom. I didn't really think of that at all, quite literally, to be honest. And I didn't really give a shit when my friends would go. I kind of just didn't care. But I was just so judgy, and it was more internally. But I know, like, at that time, I did a lot of, like, soul searching as to why I was, like, recently in the last couple of years. I've been like, why was I like that, you know? And I kind of realized a lot of it had to do with my own trauma with misogyny. and like
Yeah.
projecting the things people have said to me about like my appearance, projecting that onto trans women. So I also think with SWERFs, it's the same thing. Like women are shamed for like being in touch with our sexuality and like enjoying sex or like profiting off of it. That's like the last thing you're supposed to do.
Women are not supposed to profit. Women
that's-
are not supposed to have control over their own
Yeah.
financial destiny.
That's why the like big pick me like narrative is like, oh, I'm the cool girl. Like we can go 50-50 on the first date. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like women aren't supposed to like, women are not supposed to get their bag, and men make more money than us. I'm sorry. Like I'm not like traditional like that at all. That's not what I'm saying. But like, unless you're like going out of your way, if you pass laws where like we're making the same amount as you, then cool, we could go 50-50 on a first date. But fuck you, you could buy me my fucking food. Like, you know,
Absolutely,
like that's how I feel when I go on dates with dudes.
Yeah.
Because
the amount of money you put into the outfit and the makeup and the everything else, like you've already hit the price of 2 dinners.
Yeah.
Like
when I'm like with
fucking nut up.
when I'm like dating women, like we, you know, like it's not as big of a pressing issue. But like if I go on a first date with a dude and he absolutely like will not like pay for the whole thing or ask, I've never had a guy ask to go 50-50 because red pill. Like I haven't like gone on dates with a dude in a long time. But like when they kind of give that vibe, I'm always like, cool, like I'm never gonna see you again. You know, like I'll pay for it. I don't give a shit, but I'm not gonna see you again because it makes me feel like you're not socially aware of like the situation at hand. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, you've done little to no work examining feminist theory or understanding the dynamics of, and you've been listening to probably a bunch of the wrong dudes.
But there's a trauma that comes from the way men judge us and put us in danger from the way they're judging us that they project onto other women. And I think deep down inside, they think in their head, I really think they believe they're trying to be helpful, but they're not. And the problem is because they're so wrapped up in their trauma around being treated like shit as a woman in society, they don't see that they're actually just harming other women. And they don't see that they're actually setting us backward because, like, if you look at what TERFs really say, it's like, this is conservative talking points dressed up in a package that looks on the outside.
Yes.
That's why, like, a lot of...
Or it's just purely fear-based bullshit. And it's like, obviously you've been traumatized in your life and you're trying to build a world where that can never happen to you again. But like oppressing a small group of like literally 1% of people isn't going to do that. Like, unless you go after the men who are actually the problem, who actually victimized you, like you're not going to make the world safer. You're going to, in fact, give those people who victimized you more power to do that to more people. Because the second you give away a little bit of your rights so that trans people have less of them, they're coming for yours next. And like, I hate the argument of like the only way cis people will care is if you tell them that their rights are in danger too. But like sometimes you do have to make that point.
Yeah, because a lot of people
don't think about it.
They can't pull their head out of their ass to like see it and like care about other people because they're so worried about themselves and their own bullshit they're internalizing and dealing with. So sometimes to reach somebody who has like lower levels of empathy or like hardly any at all, you have to pitch it to them like, hey, this would benefit you.
Yeah. Or at least not harm you. Sometimes that should be enough. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it shouldn't have to, like, help you for you to be like, oh, wait, let's not do the thing that's going to harm me.
But it's hard to get past that with people like that. You know what I mean? Especially, like, women that are exclusionary of other women because they, you know what I mean? They are trying to keep themselves safe. That's what they think.
Yeah.
You get that talking point with a lot of SWERFs too. The like, oh, like porn should be illegal because it's causing men to be violent towards women. I'm like, men were worse in the past before we had porn.
Yeah.
Rapes and like molestation of children, that was so much fucking worse before we had that.
It was rampant. It's still rampant.
How many older women from like the 50s and 40s, like old women, like our grandmother's age, do you know that were like absolutely experiencing marital rape? Marital rape was legal until the 90s.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like, and that's just in a like everyday marriage.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then like if you like back then you didn't have rights. If you got raped by a random man and your husband found out, he would divorce you like it was your fault. That guy would get away scot-free, and then you would end up homeless.
The scarlet letter all over.
And guess what you'd have to do? You'd have to be a sex worker if you couldn't find another like.
I mean, honestly, like I think men designed the system this way, maybe not from the get-go, maybe not intentionally, but like little by little over time, designed the system in such a way that like if you are not following the exact strictest letter of our rules, we will throw you out on the streets and you will become a sex worker because you'll have literally no other option because we don't hire you because we don't think women are smart enough to have a job. And then we'll rape you again once you're out there. And then we'll look down on you and we'll abuse you and we'll shame you and we'll torture you and we'll throw you in jail where you'll get raped again. And like, the whole system was designed to like destroy women.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, and they're doing it to trans women too. I was a little swerfy in my beliefs for a long time.
Yeah.
And like,
you were raised religious, of course.
Exactly. And like, I still had some lingering shit like when we met, like when we started becoming friends. Like, I still had some reservations.
Yeah.
Like anytime, I would tell ex-roommate, I'd be like, I don't know, I think she's like really cool. I think we're good, like becoming friends. He'd just be like, you can't be friends with a stripper. And I was like, whoa, why? And he's like, they're just chaotic. Like they're untrustworthy. They'll rob you.
Yeah.
And like there's some
there's the
truth to that with
stereotype of
some
where like dumb bitches are on drugs.
Yeah.
This is one thing I will say though, because of the environment of the club, especially if you meet a dancer at her work, you have to be wary. Like I don't have a lot of friends that are dancers just because like a lot of the environment we're in, it's very cutthroat. You can't trust people.
Yeah.
It's like not only the customers, but the girls, everyone's trying to like get up out of a situation. You know what I mean? Like that's not always the case. And like it also varies from club to club a little bit, but like there's still a degree of you have to kind of watch your back and be careful who you trust in those environments. So like some dancers kind of lose a sense of their own personal life and don't know how to separate that persona from the club so they can act that way in real life sometimes. That does happen. It wasn't like terrible advice, but like also I think I'm pretty cool. You know what I mean?
I didn't listen to the advice, obviously.
If he was being like, like they're all fucking sluts and like on drugs and stuff, I would have been like, fuck that guy. Because I know that guy. He's a fucking slut and on drugs. I know him personally, but he didn't say that. So.
But it wasn't just him, like even at the party that we met at.
Oh yeah, there were those weird fucking stuck up
There was
people.
that one girl.
That bitch was a hater. That bitch was, and she didn't say it to my face. That was the funny thing.
She waited till you left the room. But like the way she presented her opinion, she was like you got up to like go get a drink from downstairs or whatever, and like as soon as you were out of the room, she was just like, I just feel so bad for that girl.
Like, why, bitch? I feel bad for you. You're in a marriage with a man that doesn't want to fuck you anymore. Like, fuck you.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Fuck that weird bitch. If that bitch is watching this on the off chance,
there's no way.
You never know.
It's true.
I just got to talk my shit.
Yep.
Say it to my face next time, bitch. Pussy ass bitch.
Yeah.
At least I'm not in a sexless marriage with.
But like you're legitimately the first person that I know of that was like an actual sex worker that I actually became friends with.
Yeah.
Like
that'll change your mind on shit too.
True, like the amount of shit that I learned about like the way the clubs work, the way like your mindset going into the club, what the dynamics between the people. Like I learned so fucking much and unpacked so much of my SWERF bullshit just from like literally listening to you like rant about bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
same thing with you and like trans stuff. Like I was at a pretty good place with it. Like, but there were like things you would tell me where I'm like, oh, I'm like wording this incorrectly. Or like, you know what I mean? I hadn't thought of that way.
It's good to make friends with people who do something that are different from you, you know?
I was SWERFy until I had a different friend in college. It's not the girl. That was weird. That would be really weird if it was, but I had a friend who was a dancer and she told me about it. And we were like still going to school for a while and I was like, oh, and then I was kind of less judgy about it because I didn't expect it from her. Like she was kind of like me where she would like look femme in the like face and hair, but like she would wear really mass clothing. And I was like, oh, that's not what I imagine when I think of a stripper. And then I remember when she's the one that helped me get a job because I had lost a job and I was running out of money. And I showed up to one of her shows because she used to DJ. I showed up to one of her shows and I was in a like kind of like crop top sports bra thing. And she was like, oh my God, you're in like, I was in good shape at the time. She was like, you're in really good shape. she's like, aren't you like freaking out about money and you don't know what you're going to do right now at
Yeah.
the end of the month? And I was like, yeah, why? And she was like, it's not for everybody, but it saved my ass, told me about the club, told me how to get hired, and was like, if you want to try it out, tell them I sent you. And, you know, I took about a month like trying to gain the confidence to do it. And I ended up going and just didn't turn back for 10 months or 10 years.
Yeah.
But I was pretty swerfy before I met her. And then even then, there's a thing in sex work we call the hierarchy, where I'm so serious. It is
I
a
believe
thing.
you. I know. I
It's
believe
a thing
you.
where like more privileged sex workers will like kind of look down on like full service girls or like
Sure.
or like escorts or you know things like that. I would say the more privileged top of the pyramid are the like
SWERF goes all the way down. Mm-hmm. Sex workers judging sex workers. Build a coalition. We can do that. Do something.
when I was a baby dancer, I was like that.
Yeah.
Like I worked at a club where most of the girls did extras and like I'd be like the extra girl, and back then like the extra girls were like charging a good amount where like I could still make money and not do extra, so I don't even know what I was complaining about. When most of the club is an extras club, it does kind of attract a lot of the times a grimier clientele.
Sure.
And makes it more unsafe, but also like I can go to another club same day and get hired. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have to work there. I'm making
Right.
that choice and complaining
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
it. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
was not there first. Like that club was like that. I do get irritated when I work at a club that is very strict on no extras and the girls agree on that. And you get an extra girl that decides to do that anyways. I've worked at clubs where bitches like that would get beat up. Or my first club, if a new girl came in and did extras for too cheap, the girls would like jump her in the bathroom. It's not like that anymore. The
Yeah.
industry's changed a
That's so
lot.
crazy.
But like, but there was a hierarchy where I always just felt like I was better than the extras girls. And
Yeah.
like I had that mentality for some years. And then like I started travel dancing, meeting different people. I met some like high-end escorts. I met girls that have like walked a blade somewhere, you know, and I'm like, oh, like, why am I judging you? You're just getting your money same as me, just in a
Yeah.
different way, whatever. Like at least you're getting money out of them, you know?
Yep.
And I used to get, because of the economy, especially in certain cities when girls are charging really low and the whole city's like that, I'm like, I'm not even going to judge you because like a lot of girls that do full service are doing survival sex work right now.
Yeah.
Even I felt like I was doing survival stripping, if that's even a thing,
Yeah.
because I just wasn't making enough dancing, you know?
Yeah.
And I started working at clubs with like a lower price on VIP because it's easier to sell when people don't have money, you know? Instead of waiting all night for the whale to come in and pay $2,000 for an hour and cry about his divorce.
Right,
Like, it's,
right.
you know, so
Yeah.
I'm like less judgy about it now. But like when the economy is good too, I'm also like if you're a bad bitch, you need to be charging a lot. Because if you're really pretty and you're doing full service for like no fucking money, that fucks with not only your money, but everyone else's, you know, like, but yeah, there's a lot of like swerfy sex workers, which is like ironic.
People just trying to retain whatever sense of dignity they can, but they feel that they've lost. It's like judging other people for taking one step further down the same path. Like honestly, it's similar to the way that like girls who get bottom surgery will judge girls who don't. Like all the weird trans hierarchies.
Yeah.
And like there's
Yeah.
a lot of turfiness in the community too. Just a
Yeah.
lot of the like trans medicalist bullshit.
Yeah.
Like there's just
It's just women being pit against each other and taking the bait, like even
Yeah.
within those communities that are already being super marginalized.
true. The crossover is wild between the two groups and
Yeah.
the beliefs and the
Yeah, because I've thought about this a lot. Like, I had a lot of trans friends before I met you, but they all like live in different places, you know, so I don't like see them as a group or like, you know, like hang out with them all the time. And when I made friends with you, like I made a lot more friends with trans people, specifically trans women. And some of them do sex work, you know, and like I just started to realize I'm like, there's a lot of crossover between our experiences. There's like a lot of crossover,
Yeah.
you know, even discrimination, getting like an apartment.
yeah.
Like I have to be careful about what I say when I apply for an apartment. I have to make sure that they will accept like bank statements or like a letter from like my club saying I'm a waitress. Cause if they find out I'm a dancer, a lot of places will deny me a place to live,
yeah.
you know? And it's the same thing with a trans person. If your name doesn't match your driver's license or like, you
Yep.
know, it does. And like, maybe you don't pass 100% and they want to be weird. Like there's a lot of crossover with the SWERF and TERF shit, you know?
Yep.
We have like our experiences are still different, but there is a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
And I've noticed I usually vibe really well with a lot of trans women. And I think it's because even though I don't understand every little thing they're going through, there is some crossover in the way society treats us, you know? And even being one of the more privileged on the like hierarchy, you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like cam girls, porn, it kind of depends on some things,
Yeah.
you know, and like strippers, and then it's like high-end escorts. I think dominatrixes have it better than strippers, but also it's a lot more sketchy because it's still technically illegal, so
Yeah.
it's more dangerous, you know? But like, you know, and then there's like girls that are walking the blade.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
probably on the higher end of privilege in terms of trans girls too, because I've never had to turn to sex work. I've never and
yeah.
thankfully the way that I get clients to like tutoring, it's like mostly it's word of mouth and it's people who like are vouching for me. So like when I get a new client, they're like, well, you come with the recommendation of a person I already really trust. So like
Yeah.
there's no question of like, are you really going to be able to do this? Are you going to be safe with the kids? It's like, well, she trusts you with her kids.
Yeah.
So
it's
you're probably fine. So, but like, it's still something I worry about.
It's crazy that people think that way too, because I feel like if I had a like math tutor who I thought was a fucking dude,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden that dude was like, just kidding, I'm a woman. Also, I'm gonna take estrogen and be a woman now, I'd be like, oh, this is so much better.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I do feel like that's sort of generally what happened with like the first client I had who like found out I was trans, because I was closeted for a long. I was doing, you know, transitioning quietly, going by dead name, whatever. It was getting harder and harder and harder to hide it.
Yeah.
But then there was one client who she was like, I want to stop paying you through the tutoring service because I know they take like a huge percentage. I just want to pay you directly. So like, what's your Venmo? And I like realized like I've
You're
changed
like, oh,
I've changed my Venmo. My
shit,
name on
panic.
Venmo is Chloe. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, how do I navigate out of this
Like
situation?
best case scenario, she thinks you're a scammer on Venmo.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
With like a random name.
So I pulled out the phone and I was like, it's gonna be a different name. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she looked at it and she was like, are you Chloe? And I was like, I am Chloe. And she was like, you should go by Chloe.
Yeah, you would think that would be the reaction,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
And I was like, maybe you're right.
you would think that would be the
And
reaction every
that was
time.
the day I started slowly coming out to all my clients.
Yeah.
Like, because she was like, oh, fucking be Chloe then. Like, why are you still doing this other bullshit?
Yeah.
You know? And that's the same person who you watch their dog. So
Oh, I love that family.
they're the best.
They're so dope. And that dog, amazing.
the fluffiest little
Yeah,
fluff monster.
no, they're all so cool.
Yeah, they are,
They're the
truly.
nicest family. I want them to adopt me.
I would love to be adopted by them.
But yeah, it's just, there's just so much crossover. We could yap and yap for like an
Yeah,
8-hour thing on it. But
Yeah.
I did want to touch on one other thing I've noticed with both. For a lot of them, there is this like male-centered pick-me attitude with this. Like TERFs, for example, they'll sit around with a bunch of guys and be like if they see a trans girl, like, that's basically a man, right? You know, like, make fun of her appearance.
Yeah, literally.
Sex workers or SWERFs will sit around with a bunch of guys and talk shit about strippers and like, you know, escorts and whatever, and like, oh yeah, like, I'm too cool, I would never do that, like, I'm better than that, I value, like, all of this shit. And it's just like, this is male centered. Even like customers at the club, like, I'll have female customers that'll like do this weird thing where they're trying to pull the attention away from the dancers when I'm like, I don't give a fuck about attention. Make your boys fucking tip me and shut up. Stop pulling your titties out
Yeah.
at the fucking stage. If you want to work here, do it. You're
Yeah.
doing it for free. You look like a clown, but they're doing it for like a pick me thing.
Yeah.
But they'll judge me for doing it for money, you know? And I don't give a shit about these guys.
It
like,
is. It is largely for like male approval or like to like fit in with the guys.
Yeah.
Because it's the boys' club. You
and
know?
it's like, how do you even get to that place? Because it's like, I think the mindset behind it is like, the male validation comes from like wanting to be protected by men. I really
Yeah.
think, especially for women, that's the thing. But it's like, you're like, oh, I'm the cool girl, blah, 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 whatever. But like, they're still men. They like, just because they think you're cooler than other girls doesn't mean they're not going to be misogynistic to you, you know, and maybe harm you in some way. Like, you're not keeping yourself safe. You are safer with other women, standing with other women.
Mm-hmm.
And like, let me tell you, the girls that I know that look out for each other more than any other demographic, it's trans girls and sex workers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sex workers
Nobody
out
else
there
has our backs.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex workers out there that are like only out for themselves for sure. But like a lot of them with their closest friends, they're like real ass bitches and they will have your back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with trans women. They have community around it. I mostly wanted to do this episode because I don't think a lot of people make that connection. I feel like they're two separate topics that get talked about separately a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think it's important because I do think there are probably a lot of like trans women that are judgy about, sex workers, but
I've known a couple of them.
there are a lot of sex workers that are super transphobic.
You've told me.
Most of
Yeah.
the time I'm checking women on transphobic shit, it's in the club.
Yeah.
The majority of times I've had to like bring that shit up, it is in the club. And I'm like, the society looks at you the same fucking way. Yeah, when you go home, if you wear normal clothes and don't tell anyone, sure, you get to conceal it.
No, it's that societal thing where like if you are at the bottom of the totem pole, you just need to find someone to be beneath you on the totem pole.
Yep.
And if you're a sex worker, that's a trans person. And if you're a trans person, if you're not a sex worker, maybe that's a sex worker. And like truly, we are both at the bottom. And we need to come together and we need to figure this shit out because fuck fascism. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of patriarchy.
Yeah.
I'm sick of capitalism. I'm sick of all of it. And like, I
sick of it
truly think the revolution is going to have to come from the people who've been shit on the most, which is like our unanimous coalitions. You know?
I've always said I want a lesbian, black, trans woman who is or has been a sex worker to just like run everything.
100%. Knows how things work better than probably anyone else in the world.
That bitch will get our shit right in like a year.
Yeah.
She would fix everything.
Yeah.
Points if she's got a disability. I'm telling you, like intersectionality matters. There is a reason that when somebody has an extra level of bullshit from like the system, they usually have better insight on stuff.
Yeah.
Or like
and anything
solid
they
ideas.
do that could benefit themselves will benefit everyone.
That's exactly
like,
it.
If you're looking after like the most marginalized, rights do trickle up.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
no.
There's no trickle down economics, but there is trickle up rights.
Yeah, a million %. I also feel like everyone who has privilege is so afraid of people that like are marginalized, like taking over and like them not having any rights. And I'm like, no, because they've experienced all of it. They've experienced all of the fucking discrimination.
They would
and
never
bullshit
wish
and
this on anyone.
Danger you could get.
Yeah.
So like, if you put them in charge, they're not going to be this big authoritarian leader like we have in fucking office right now. Because that man's never experienced a day of fucking danger or like stress in his life.
Not one.
Maybe he has some childhood trauma because he has evil, rich family members, but like he's never had to worry about how he's going to pay his rent, how he's going to feed himself.
It's a very different thing to have childhood trauma and be rich versus childhood trauma plus you've slipped through the cracks of the system and you're probably going to end up homeless.
He's never walked into a room and people look at him and assume, maybe now, but he's never walked into a room and people assume he's incompetent. I mean, he's shown that. So like now people see it, but like I don't want somebody like Trump in charge. I don't want a man in charge. I don't even want to see like straight white people. I want to see the most marginalized demographic of a person possible.
Truly would love that.
Just leading the way. People it's not about ruling over people. It's about leading us in the right direction. That person's going to have the best insight because they've experienced all of it. So I think this is a conversation that more people should have in line where we include both of these topics. Like, sex work and trans exclusionary radical feminism is harmful. And I think connecting the two and finding that common ground, that way, like trans people and like specifically trans women and then like female sex workers, we can kind of like come together better with these conversations. We can work out our own like internalized shit within our own communities, and then work our way up to like other demographics of women with like more privilege than us. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's really important.
No disagreements here.
I feel like I yapped so much.
Well, if you hit all your points, then we did it. Thanks for listening to our SWERF and TERF adventure time.
SWERF and TERF.
SWERFs and TERFs.
Fucks the SWERFs and TERFs.
Well, they simply must be educated and they must stop being so misogynistic and they must get over their trauma.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yes. So like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications.
As I said at the beginning, you want this.
Yes.
And you already knew that, but now you especially know that.
You
so
want to hit all the buttons.
you love buttons. You want to subscribe to our Patreon.
Show me what you got. I want to see what
I
you
want
got.
to see what you've got.
Oh, that's right. They do the show me what you got.
Back here. Show me what you got. So yeah, we'll just get swifty.
Go check out our Patreon. Join us
Check it
on
out.
Patreon. It's lit over there.
And we love you.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Love you. Bye.
Lady and the Trans Podcast. Where we believe in science. We don't believe in God. Only science.